I'm working on a video about ordering at restaurants, but there are a couple of things I need to go over first. The first is something I always learn very early on when I study a new language: how to order a beer. I love beer and I love languages, and so I use these expressions all the time. If you have a specific beer that you prefer, of course you can ask for it by name. But no matter what country I go to, I always want to have 생맥주. It's cold, it's fresh, and it's usually cheap. So how do we say 생맥주 in English? There are actually two different terms for 생맥주. The first is draft beer. Draft comes from a secondary meaning of draw, meaning to pull something or take something out of a container. The beer is not delivered in a bottle or can, it's pulled out from the keg. Draft is usually used as a modifier, used together with beer. We don't use the word draft often when we order. It's usually used when talking about draft beer in general. For example, I love ordering draft beer when I'm traveling in a foreign country. Sometimes, a restaurant will have two options for a popular beer: draft or bottle. In that case, if you order a beer by name, they might ask you, draft or bottle. The other expression is on tap. A tap is a device that you put into a container of liquid to draw out the liquid and control it. It might be easy to remember if you think of the verb to tap. For a very long time, people would make beer in wooden barrels. To get the beer from the barrels, they would use a hammer and tap a faucet into it. So tap began to mean a faucet, like in your sink. For example, we call water that you get from your faucet tap water. These days, we use metal kegs to hold beer to be poured, and we say that it is on tap. At bars in the US, there are often more than one beer on tap. The taps at a bar usually look like this. If you're at the bar, you can usually just choose one. But if your waiter or bartender asks you, "Do you want something to drink?" you can ask, "What do you have on tap?" They will usually list a couple of beers. You can then just choose one that sounds good or that is the kind of beer you like. Here's a sample conversation I just had the other day at a bar in Boston while I was on a business trip. "What can I get you?" "What do you have on tap?" "We have Harpoon IPA, Guinness, PBR, Whitney's Pale Ale, and Notch Pilsner." "I'll have the first one, the IPA." "Got it." Cheers. And don't forget to tip.